Chopper blades are tearing the night open like a buzzsaw, dust blasting off the ground as the SEAL team drags a barely conscious woman out of the rubble. She's bleeding bad, but the craziest part, she's calm to calm. Not shaking, not crying, not even breathing hard. Her eyes are locked forward like she's already mapped every escape route in her head. The SEAL medic drops to his knees beside her, snaps on gloves, starts checking her wounds, then her hand shoots up and clamps onto his wrist with a grip that shouldn't even be possible for someone losing that much blood. She stares straight into his eyes and whispers, "Don't open that bag." Not here. The medic freezes. The team freezes. Everybody's brain just went, "The hell did we just pick up?" Thunder cracks overhead as an explosion lights the far side of the compound, spraying debris across the sand, but she doesn't flinch once. She's watching everything, calculating, like this isn't the worst night of her life, it's just another shift. And in that split second before they haul her into the bird, the medic sees something in her eyes he's only seen in elite operators who've lived through things you don't talk about, things you don't survive. The roar of the helicopter fades into a tense hum as they lift off, and the vibe inside is heavy, like everyone feels something's off, but no one wants to say it first. The team thinks she's a regular civilian caught in the crossfire of a dirty firefight, but the medic's gut is twisting. Her vitals are to steady, her breathing to controlled, her silence way to sharp. When he cuts away her blood-soaked sleeve, he expects bruises, shrapnel, maybe civilian jewelry, but what he finds instead makes his hands stop cold, burned-in markings. Scraped off ink patterns, not random tattoos, these are military. High-level, classified. He's seen them once before during a blackout operation, the kind you pretend didn't exist. One of the SEALs leans in, sees the same thing, and his face drains like a man staring at a ghost. "Yo, that ain't civilian ink," he mutters under his breath. "That's deep black type SHT," and suddenly the whole team realizes they didn't just rescue someone, they extracted a secret. A dangerous one, a living classified file. Someone who's been somewhere they shouldn't have survived. And as the medic tapes her arm and tries to stabilize her, he notices something even worse. She's awake. Watching him, not scared, not confused, just making sure he doesn't tell the others what he saw. Because, whatever her past is, it wasn't supposed to be discovered tonight. And the moment it was, every SEAL on that bird stepped into a shadow war they never asked to be a part of. The forest around them is pitch so dark it feels like the shadows are breathing. The SEALs move fast but controlled, boots punching into the mud as they carry the wounded woman deeper into the extraction route. She's half conscious, head rolling, but her eyes keep snapping open like she's tracking something only she can see. The medic tries to keep pressure on her wound, mumbling, "Stay with me," but she rasps out, "Ambush, left ridge, to shooters." The SEAL point man freezes. Bro, she ain't even looking, how the hell she know that? But 2 seconds later, muzzle flashes tear through the tree line exactly where she warned. The team dives for cover, returning fire as branches explode and dirt kicks up around them. She lifts a shaky hand, signaling positions like muscle memory, like she's not lying on a stretcher but leading an op. They follow her instinct without even realizing it. The firefight ends fast too fast. These weren't amateurs, these were trained ghosts. As the team pushes forward, she refuses water, refuses morphine, her voice barely a whisper but somehow still commanding. "Save it, for when you need it." The medic studies her face, her posture, her weirdly steady breathing for someone bleeding out. Everything about her screams experience, not civilian experience, combat experience. The kind you don't talk about, the kind you don't survive by accident. He leans close, trying to get her to rest, but she murmurs, "If I sleep." "You die," and the way she says it, the medic believes her instantly. Inside the helicopter, the tension is thick enough to choke on. The medic straps her in, pulls out scissors, and cuts through what's left of her sleeve. He expects a wound. What he gets instead is a punch to the soul. Beneath the torn fabric is a burned, scraped-off tattoo, an emblem he's only seen in classified briefings. A mark of a unit that technically doesn't exist. His hands freeze midair. A SEAL beside him leans over, sees the same thing, and whispers, "No way." No freaking way. You know what that is. The medic doesn't answer. He can't. His throat is dry. His pulse spikes because if she has that mark, then she's not a civvy. Not a contractor, not even a standard operator. She's something else, something off books. She opens her eyes just enough to see the medic's expression and her voice turns cold. "You didn't see anything." The medic swallows. "Ma'am, nothing," she repeats, sharper. Before he can respond, a proximity alarm screams through the cabin. "Drone lock," the pilot yells, "we've been tagged." The woman grabs the medic's vest with surprising strength and croaks, "They're not tracking you. They're tracking me." The team realizes the ugly truth. Their evac just became a hunt. And they're the bait. The chopper swerves as a missile streaks past. The medic tries to shield her, but she shakes her head weakly. "Don't waste protection on me." "Save your men." The SEALs stare, confused, scared, and starting to understand they didn't pick up a victim. They picked up a target. The crash is violent, metal grinding against earth, sparks slicing through the darkness as the chopper slams into the ground. The SEALs spill out, coughing, grabbing gear, forming a perimeter. The wounded woman drags herself against a wall, barely conscious but still scanning the tree line like she's expecting someone. The medic rushes to her, trying to keep her awake. "Talk to me. What's coming?" She closes her eyes like she's listening to ghosts and whispers, "Professionals." The team doesn't even get a minute to breathe before shadows start moving in the fog, silent, synchronized, weapons drawn. These aren't local fighters. Their steps are to clean. Their trigger disciplined to perfect. One SEAL mutters, "These ain't random hostiles. They're hunting someone." Another looks at the woman, pale and shaking. She's the someone. Gunfire erupts, clean, precise, no wasted rounds. The team fires back, but the enemy advances like a machine. The woman, barely clinging to consciousness, points weakly to a blind spot in the ridge. "They'll flank you there." 3 of them. The SEALs pivot, cut off the maneuver, wipe them before they breach. She saved them again. The SEAL leader crouches beside her, voice low. "How many more?" She opens her eyes slowly. "Enough to erase a mistake." He frowns. "What mistake?" She gives the smallest, saddest smile. "Me." The realization hits the SEALs like a gut punch. They weren't just caught in crossfire. They walked into a cleanup op, and the thing being cleaned up is her. Pinned behind broken walls and burning wreckage, the SEAL medic tries to stabilize her, but she pushes his hands away, breath trembling. "Listen, you need to know before they breach." The medic shakes his head. "Save your strength, no time." Her voice cracks, not from weakness but from the weight of the truth. She finally speaks the thing she's been hiding. She wasn't part of a normal unit. She was part of a ghost team operator stripped of identity, background, existence. Soldiers the world could delete without paperwork. Their missions were the kind you don't brief, you just bury. Her last mission went catastrophic. Intel was burned, backup compromised, extraction sabotaged. Every teammate dead except her. She wasn't supposed to survive. The hit squad chasing her now. They're not rescuing her. They're erasing the final witness to a mission nobody is allowed to remember. The medic listens, frozen. "Why didn't you tell us?" he asks quietly. She stares at him with eyes too old for her age. "Because once you know, you're part of it. And they'll hunt you too." The SEAL leader hears everything, jaw clenching. "We're not abandoning you." She gives a bitter laugh. "You don't understand. people like me aren't extracted. We're erased, the enemy pushes closer, gunfire slicing overhead. She grabs the medic's vest with her last burst of strength. If I die, leave me. If I live, they'll come for all of us, but the medic shakes his head. Not happening, because now it's personal, and SEALs don't leave ghosts behind. The final stand erupts like a war movie turned savage reality. The SEALs brace behind the ruins as the hit squad advances in a perfect, terrifying formation. Then, out of nowhere, the woman forces herself to her feet, staggering, bleeding, but dead set on fighting. The medic shouts, "You can't even stand." She snarls back, "Watch me." She grabs a fallen rifle, flips it one-handed, and fires with the precision of someone forged by nightmares. The SEALs glance at each other. This woman isn't trained like them. She's trained beyond them. The enemy pushes hard, breaching angles, throwing flash charges. She calls out patterns, counters, positions, her voice sharp and instinctive. They move as one, forming a hybrid team. She somehow commands even while half dying. When the hit squad leader finally steps into the open, masked, armored, and confident, she steps forward like she's been waiting for him. He recognizes her instantly. "You were supposed to stay dead," he growls. She wipes blood from her mouth. "You first." Their fight is brutal, hand to hand, blade to blade, rage to rage. She moves like her body remembers, even when her strength doesn't. In the end, she drives a knife into his throat and collapses right after. The medic catches her before she hits the ground. As evac arrives, the SEALs carry her out not as a stranger, not as a risk, but as one of their own. She opens her eyes long enough to whisper, "Now you know." Why stayed silent, and the medic realizes she wasn't quiet out of fear. She was quiet because the truth could kill every man in that squad. The battlefield finally falls quiet, smoke drifting upward and thin, tired ribbons as the evac bird thunders in from the horizon. The SEALs move slowly, not from injury but from the weight of everything they just learned. The woman lies on a stretcher, pale, barely conscious, but alive because she refused to die, alive because the team refused to let her fade into the shadows she came from. The medic sits beside her, hands still shaking as he checks her pulse, not because he's scared of losing her, but because he finally understands what she's been carrying alone. He pulls the blanket over her shoulder, hiding the burned-off tattoo that was never meant to be seen. He doesn't take a picture, he doesn't report it. He just covers it like a secret meant to stay buried. As the helicopter lifts off, the team sits in silence, not the awkward kind, but the heavy, respectful kind. The kind that only comes after you've fought beside someone who shouldn't even exist on paper. The woman opens her eyes for a moment, just long enough to look at the medic. Her voice is barely a breath when she says, "I didn't want you involved." He shakes his head. Too late for that. The medic leans back, the reality sinking in. Rescuing her didn't end anything, it started something. Something darker, something bigger, something coming. She closes her eyes again, whispering the last thing any of them want to hear. "If they find out I survived, they'll come for all of you." And as the bird disappears into the night, every SEAL realizes the mission isn't over. It's only gone silent.